Welcome to our 5 on 5. We're pleased to welcome back Michael Rondo, the CEO of the Cow Creek Tribe. Michael, good to see you again. How are you today?
Nice to be here.
All right, so let's start with, obviously many people know Seven Feathers Casino is I assume, your main operation. But what other businesses do you operate?
We have several businesses. We connected to our resort are RV parks. We have a truck and travel center. And we try to promote the areas basically for people to a destination resort, so that there are a lot of things to do there, with the river being there, fishing, so on and so forth. We also have entered into the agricultural field. We started that probably about 15 years ago, and within the last few years we've grown that operation with the acquisition of the Rogue River Ranch. And that has proven to be very, very good for us. We produce about 10,000 tons of hay annually, and we have about 3,500 cattle located there. And so it is very good for a diversification project that we've been working on.
Okay, and so coming back to a continued theme of our conversations, and last week we had the SEDCO, the business arm of the Coquel tribe here, and talking about the same thing. It's this all elongated process, of course. It's the possibility of a casino in Medford, something you guys have come out in strong opposition to. Where do we stand in that process?
Well, there's still a long way to go in that process. There's still the environmental issues that the reports that they're going to have to produce through the NEPA process. We feel that we're in pretty good position, but we just need the Secretary of Interior to make the decision. The decision lies in that office.
Okay, and is there any timeline on when that decision will come?
We've gotten indications from them, from meetings we've had, that they want to do it in this year.
Okay.
And get that decision made on whether the land is eligible for gaming. Now, we've held the position that this is not restored land, which is what they're making the application under. You know, if it's restored land, shouldn't that mean that it's land that they once held? They did not hold that land, and we feel it's what would be part of a two-part determination process, and that would allow the governor to be involved, as well as city and county would have more voice in that.
Okay, and Governor Kitzhaber has come out in opposition to the proposal.
He did.
Have we heard from Governor Brown on this?
Governor Brown has it under consideration now, and we've been told that it'll be sometime soon.
Okay, all right. So something I found interesting in talking to the SEDCO people last week is there's a Three Rivers Casino that is a Class 2 facility, and that's in Coos Bay, which I'm told is 3 miles from the Mill Casino that the Coquel operate. You don't think, forgive me, correct me if I'm putting words in your mouth, but you have the Seven Feathers Casino. You don't think a casino should come into Medford because it's your territory, or is it too close?
Not necessarily that, but it's against the law. The reason that the Three Rivers Casino was able to open a second location,
so like practically neighbors,
is because, well, that is their Aboriginal territory.
Okay.
But the land that they placed it on was actually land that they had owned prior to the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act. So it is eligible for them to do gaming on that land.
Okay, and because, the Coquel just bought this property a few years ago.
Yes, and there's a section in the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act for that. It's the two-part determination and the process there that they would have to go through. And if they did that, I think that's what everyone else has been advocating for, is if they would use that process.
Okay, and we've heard from a lot of people want a convention center in Medford, and what they're hoping to do is open
this wouldn't be a convention center.
Okay, you don't think so?
I don't believe that this would be meet the needs that people have talked about there. This would be a gaming center that would challenge, if not most likely put a lot of the lottery businesses out of business. If this first initial approval is made, they would be able to open on every street corner if they chose to. it would make that decision, this decision that's being made now would open the door for them to do that.
Okay. And last question, we uncovered last week the numbers regarding your partnership with the Jackson County Expo, like a 3-year deal, I believe. Why are partnerships like that so important to the tribe? Why
well, I've said this before, but, high tide floats all ships. And we feel that when our community does well, we do well, and vice versa. Being part of all of these activities has been a long tradition of our tribe. Since the inception of our foundation 17 or 18 years ago, we have had partnerships with nonprofits and different agencies here in the Rogue Valley that serve not only the residents of Rogue Valley, but members of our tribe as well.
Okay, well, we're definitely excited to hear the decision. Calendar year, that's more details than we've seen in some time, so it'll be interesting. Appreciate you telling us about it.
Thanks
for being here. Stay with us. We'll be right back.